Back in your life on this Monday, September 23rd, 2024. Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to another, as we like to say, pardon our dust episode of the Ariel Helwani Show. It is a Monday, and I have to do some kind of show on a Monday, even though we're not quite set up just yet. So here we are, another podcast for you, another surprise pod, if you will. On the feed. Thank you so much for subscribing if you have already. If you haven't, please do subscribe. Please do rate, comment, review, follow, all those things. It goes a long way, and we've seen a big spike as a result of our first pod here, and then, of course, the live show in Vegas. Pete's show, The Crack, is now on the feed. He did a great episode that went up on Friday. Thank you to Pete and his producer, Oscar, and, of course, Mysterious Frank, who has been the absolute boss of all bosses when it comes to all things audio here. The episode that he posted is a behind-the-scenes look at our show in Vegas on September 13th. He spoke to myself, Rick, GC, I believe Chuck, Shaheen. So it's a really fun look at what was going on, the vibes, the excitement, the atmosphere. So check that out. All those shows are going to be on this feed. So this is the place to be for all the stuff that we're doing. And I did want to clear one thing up, if I may. You know, we did that live show on September 13th in Vegas at the Venetian at the Yahoo Sportsbook. And I think a lot of fans thought that that is the new show. At least some fans said that. I saw that on the YouTube channel, which I do urge you to subscribe to that as well and give a thumbs up and like and comment and all those things. That is not the show. That is just like a one-off. We've done those before. We did one in New York. We've done in other places, did in Chicago and Vegas back in the day. That was just our sort of unofficial kickoff. So rest assured, there's a studio being built. It's right next door to where we're taping this today. The show is going to be live from the studio. It's going to look very similar to the old setup, 1 p.m. Eastern, on Mondays, on Tuesdays, on Wednesdays, on Thursdays. It's the same old thing, just more and better and no handcuffs. So you saw that. You may have seen the show that I did with Ade on Thursday, and you're like, what's up with all these shows in front of people? No, those are just kind of unofficial, getting our feet wet kickoffs, if you will. Very soon we'll be in a controlled environment, and it's going to look and sound fantastic. So I did want to throw that out because I saw some people concerned about all this. And again, as I said last week, this all really kicks off October 14th. First live show, the website launches on October 14th. Everything really happens on October 14th. You may be saying to yourself, why so long? Well, we have to build a studio. We have to assemble a team. There's so much going on behind the scenes here. It is so much fun. I'm having a blast. So we're giving you these things so that we're not completely dark. But we don't have a set. We don't have a studio to do stuff properly. But rest assured, come December, this will all be a distant memory and we'll be off and running. So I did want to get that out of the way just off the bat. Rick is here with me. Hello, Rick.
Hello.
GC is here.
What's up, man?
Frank is here.
What's going on?
Back in the same spot. It's great to be here at the Yahoo offices. You guys ever listen to The Starters or Basketball Jones, Jay Skeets, Taz Mellis?
It's been a while, but yes.
You sound like one of the producers, Frank, when you say that. No?
That's what I'm intending to do.
Yeah, it's like, why does it go from like here to up here?
I have no idea.
It's like a roller coaster.
I've had these weird voice mannerisms since I was a kid.
It's great.
Yeah.
Frank doesn't like when we're all in the same room. I've noticed that.
Oh, for sure. He hates this. It's uncomfortable.
I like to be able to talk my shit.
Yeah, but like you like to
you
be
guys
like
seeing me.
sequestered off, right?
Yeah, but I can see like his audio, his whole text set up here.
Yeah.
And when I look that way, he looks at me with concern on his face.
Like,
'cause
why
he
are you
thinks I'm,
looking
like,
at me?
trying
Yeah,
to
when we
indict
look at
him.
him, he's like, what's going wrong? For sure.
Well, it's
love
good to
it.
all be here with you guys. I'm back. I was in London for the last few days. Luckily, knock on wood, no travel for the foreseeable future. As of right now, my next trip, if you will, is the Tyson Paul fight. So I'm very excited about that. A little bit of a break. So there's a few items that I wanted to talk about with you guys, and we'd go kind of in chronological order. And I want to tell you guys about my trip to London.
I want to hear about it.
What a time it was. What a time it was. Okay, let's go in chronological order, if we may. Left Wednesday. We were here on Tuesday doing stuff for the studio, which was a ton of fun, a lot of progress. Wednesday morning. You know, there's 2 flights that you could take to London. You could take the morning flight, and then you're flying all day.
Mhm.
You land at around 8, 9 p.m., or you could take the 8, 9 p.m. flight and then get there in the morning, but you hit the ground running.
Yeah.
I chose the former, so I was pretty much...
You sound regretful.
No, but here's the tricky part. You land, it's 8, 9, you were just on a flight, and then you kind of have to go to bed.
Yeah.
As opposed to just try to sleep on the plane.
Now, are you a plane sleeper? What's
I'm
your...
fine with it, but I feel like as I'm getting older, not an old man by any stretch, but it's a little harder to adapt.
Got it.
So anyway, I took the morning flight.
Yep.
If you get the internet, you could do a ton of stuff, and I did get to do a ton of stuff. In the midst of all of that, I see the news item that the great Adrian Wojnarowski retires. Actually, you broke the news to me, I
Yes.
believe. That
We were
he's
texting up a storm, and
Yeah.
it just happened right in
There
the
was a lot of stuff that we did, and
Yeah.
might weigh in on that later on. But it made the flight fly by. But you land at 8, 9 p.m., and then you're like, well, how do I get this like energy out of my system? You know,
You prefer to essentially fly through the night and then hit the ground running when you land.
I don't know. I think I actually prefer the way I did it.
I think the way you did is how I would prefer. Yeah.
But the problem is, you land at 9, it's pitch black, and then you kind of have to go to bed.
I'm the other way.
And by the way, we're 5 hours ahead, so
Right,
I'm not
right,
really. I haven't done anything all day.
Take a couple of melatonin.
Well,
They're
they
okay.
did kick in. What was fun about this was I was staying in a neighborhood that I've never stayed in before, which was essentially, no joke, a 1-minute walk, hotel to Wembley Stadium. So I see it as I'm coming in. I'm like, oh man, it's right there. I've never been to Wembley. I've never seen Wembley. So put the bags in the room, and then I just go for a walk. And it's now 10:30 p.m. by the time you get there, and it's me in Wembley Stadium at night.
Yeah, I was loving the photo shoot, man.
I was loving it. First of all, it's Wembley freaking Stadium. This is like one of the most iconic stadiums in the world. Now, those that may not know, it was, the original was torn down and they built a new one. This is the new one, but it's still Wembley, you know?
Yeah.
1966 World Cup final, England's only World Cup, all the FA Cup finals, all the Carabao Cups, or Milk Cup or Coca-Cola Cup back in the day, Euro Cup 2021, England, Italy. My introduction to Wembley, 1992 SummerSlam, Davey Boy Smith, Bret Hart, one of the most iconic events of all time. There's been some AEW events there. Of course, Nottingham Forest got promoted. I mentioned that 1,000 times throughout the week against Huddersfield Town back in 2022. So I was just like in awe of it, walking around. I love London. I love England. I was just there 3 weeks ago. There's something about the energy, the people, the hospitality that I adore. So I was there. Yes, I was doing a little photo shoot. I was texting some people. I was having a grand old time. Go to bed. Take a couple of Neurogum melatonins. I'm not a big guy when it comes to that stuff, but I have to say, a fantastic sleep was had.
I appreciate that, like, you're cool with it, because I used to take melatonin and then I started having insano dreams.
Nothing.
To where, like, it would be like I was like fighting
When
a
you say
dragon.
insane, really?
Like I'm fighting a dragon and I'm like looking down and my hands are melting off and like it's like
in
I'm
the
like,
dream?
yeah, like serious nightmares.
How
Like
long does it kick in for you?
I mean,
does it take?
I would take it and then 30 minutes later I'd be out like a light. I'd sleep all night.
Bad.
I mean, you get great sleep, but like it was almost like I was sleeping so deeply. The dreams would be so intense, like, and they were always just like insane nightmares. So hopefully that just never.
I'm
happened.
very afraid to take any of this stuff because I'm afraid I'd get addicted to it. But I have to say, when you're battling time zones and jet lag, it does work.
Yeah, I don't think you can eat melatonin.
Not to be that guy.
Yeah,
But
sure.
melatonin is something that's already in your brain. So when you're
Yeah.
taking that as a supplement, you're just trying to balance it.
Okay, so there's nothing to be afraid of.
Nothing to be.
No,
and
no,
I don't know what this guy's talking
Yeah.
Dreams might start
Maybe-
happening.
Sounds like he was taking something a little extra
Yeah,
than
like-
melatonin.
Eat the magic hat, man.
about. Well, valerian root.
Melatonin.
That's a supplement you could take that.
No, we're
extra
neuro.
into.
We're neuro guys.
Neuro guys. All
Yeah.
right.
Anyway, go to bed. And this was a lot of fun. Everything that we did other than fight night was like an hour and a half away from the hotel. That was not fun. What was fun was that I was always riding with two people. George Lockhart, who is nutritionist to the stars, has worked with the likes of Conor McGregor, Holly Holm, Tyson Fury, and currently the great Joseph Parker. So every ride was me, George, and Joseph Parker. I am now like best friends with these guys. George, we've known forever. He's been on the show 1,000 times. Joseph, I didn't know as well. Interviewed him in March when he was on the Ngannou card when he fought Zhang. What a gentle giant. What an amazing guy, and what a dynamic they have. George is a wild man. I'll leave it at that. Joseph was once a wild man, but now is just like such a sweetheart. And, he's originally from Samoa. So we were talking about Roman Reigns and The Rock, and he's a big MMA fan, big wrestling fan.
Okay.
He lives in New Zealand now. We were talking about Izzy, City Kickboxing, his own career. It was great. And I was telling him my stories about, we were sort of lamenting that he doesn't talk smack like Tyson and some of the other guys. I was giving him lines. At one point, fast forward weigh-ins, he had to go on stage and address the crowd. And he's like, he was calling me Oos. I was not part of that's
you're in the family.
What do I say? What do I say? And I was like, okay, say this. He went out there and nailed it. It was like DC. It was like,
are you about to be the mouthpiece for Joseph Parker?
So at one point we're sitting and he takes a picture of me and him and he sends it to Roman Reigns and he goes, I got my own wise man now.
Wow. It's coming.
Huge. Yeah. And I was like,
that,
let me be your guy.
In line for a huge fight soon.
He's right there.
Yeah.
So it was just really fun to get to know him. And honestly, those are long rides. So
and what a time in his career right now.
This is if you're ever going to be riding around with Joseph Parker. I was thinking about him this weekend just with everything that's going on. Obviously, Tyson was there.
Yeah.
All the big names in the heavyweight division are there. And I was like, man, Joseph Parker.
Yeah. He's right there.
He's knocking on the door.
He obviously fought AJ back in the day, but now he's in a better spot. We were talking a lot about nutrition, about drinking water and stuff. He had to stop, I think, 3 or twice on our first ride there Thursday morning to go to the bathroom.
Staying hydrated.
Yeah. It was a lot of peeing. So we get to this place called Guild Hall, which is a historic venue. It's thousands of years old. William Wallace was tried for treason there back in the day.
Wow.
There was all kinds of history there. This is where the press conference was.
Braveheart guy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. All kinds of history there. We did a round table hosted by Ade Oladipo, Darren Barker, Joseph Parker, and myself. We did one on Fury Usyk. We did one on Better Bia Bivol, and friend of the program, Chris Billum-Smith, who's fighting Zerto Ramirez in November, I think the 16th. So those are fun, getting to flex my muscles, trying to convince people I know at least a thing about boxing, which is a fun dance. Then we get to the presser. AJ's late, all that stuff. I get to interview AJ, which was nice, up on the stage. He seemed happy to see me. I thought he was just in such a philosophical mood all week. Like some of the lines that he was saying, he seemed very, introspective. He seemed very grateful. He seemed to be in a great spot. He seemed to be, very, very focused. And I still feel like the world doesn't understand Daniel Dubois. They're trying to make him into AJ, make him into Fury. Like he's just a shy, I see people throwing out theories that I think that's very, it's very reckless to do that about why he is the way he is. He's just a little socially awkward.
Yeah.
He's just a little socially, he doesn't like to, listen, the post-fight interview was not a master class.
Yeah.
He needs a wise man. But so people are like, what's wrong with this guy? Is he scared? Is he crumbling? No, that's just who he is. So they were
even if they're right, who why does it matter? Who cares?
I know, but everyone's trying to find a theory about this guy that he lacks the heart, he lacks the determination, he lacks the will, whatever. So we do the presser, get to interview him. It was a lot of fun. Then we do the first episode of Ariel and Ade. I'm leaning towards just calling it Ariel and Ade, Ariel X Ade, as opposed to the Ariel and Ade show. There's enough shows.
Yeah. I don't mind that. I like that.
So that was fun. It was 30 minutes. It's going to be an hour. It's going to be from our studio. He's at home, and we just did 30 minutes, and it's up on the DAZN YouTube channel, and there's a snippet on our YouTube channel right now. And it just flowed. We didn't talk about a single thing. We didn't prepare a single thing. It was exactly what I wanted it to be and what it is going to be. So that was a lot of fun.
So if you enjoyed that, more to come.
More to come beginning October 15th.
There we go.
So we'll be doing those live. Thank you for that. On Tuesday nights, right after our show, our Tuesday show will be 1 to 4-ish. This show with Ade will air live beginning at 5 on all the DAZN channels.
Eastern
10,
time.
5 Eastern, 10 in the UK. And then you can watch it on VOD. And then the audio will be up on our feed, the same Ariel Helwani Show feed, shortly thereafter. So it's going to be great. Friday, I went to do a sit down for a Friday morning. It was for a documentary that is going to air before the Francis Renan Ferreira fight that DAZN is putting together. They went to Cameroon and talked to him about his life and saw where he grew up in the sand mines, talked to him about, unfortunately, the passing of his son, Kobe.
Yeah.
And so I had to do an interview with them in English and French. The French part was tough. It was just hard for me to translate all the terminology in my brain. Then had 2 hours to just walk around absolute gorgeous day in London. Got my shoes shined, which was nice, in a place
Sat there
called
and did it?
Burlington Gallery. Yeah, it was
Wow.
nice.
Throwback.
Got a new pocket square. I mean, I was just like
An
on
English
cloud nine.
gentleman's day. I mean, you
Bro,
sit
it was,
down,
it was
read
amazing.
the paper.
I got a coffee. They were like, do you want to go for lunch? I was like, I just want to be left alone for an hour and a half and wander London on my way to Trafalgar Square, which is where the weigh-ins were happening. Trafalgar Square is a historic site. So what they like to do, especially with these Riyadh season cards, like they were in LA, they go to Santa Monica. They go to the most impossible places to put on public events.
Yep.
Because they were telling me, like, up until Wednesday, they didn't know if they would be allowed to do it at Trafalgar Square. But Turkey, God bless him, he's like, where's the most tough place to do this? I want to go there.
But highest visibility, notable.
It's like
you
right
want
in the
to
middle.
make an impact.
Yeah, there's a freaking like fountain there.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous. The turnout was great. So we do the weigh-ins. Love doing those interviews. AJ was great. Eddie was great. Spoke to, I did the A side. Ali Drew, who works for DAZN, did the B side. And that was great. That was a lot of fun. Had a quick show meeting, went home. And the thing was, on Saturday, because this was the great thing about the card, it had to end by 11 local time because there's a curfew, because all around Wembley, there's apartment buildings. So that's why if you were watching at home, this card went by super fast. There wasn't a lot of fill. The only time we filled was because the chief support, the co-main, Hamza Shiraz, it ended in the second round. And then we had this large gap, Liam Gallagher, all that stuff. But if you watched the rest of the card, it was boom, boom, boom. They actually had to skip like 3 or 2 post-fight interviews because it had to be tight, which was amazing. Yes. Now, for us working on the show, like our egos, like we want to work, but I'm putting myself in the shoes of people back home who complain that these cards are too long. This was the best one by far.
Yeah.
So because it had to end at 11, the call time was super early. It was at 1 local time. They had this big event outside where all these guys like Usyk was there and Fury was there and Hitman Hatton and Roberto Duran. But we get there and now I'm in Wembley Stadium and I'm just blown away by the sheer size of it all. Like Turkey announced yesterday it was 98,000, but just being there in an empty stadium of that size is truly amazing. And I wish the UFC would allow themselves to do stuff like this. They just don't want to for whatever reason. There was some concern that it would rain. Crazy enough, it only rained, like, no joke, 10 minutes after the main event. It was crazy. It started to rain. And just like looking around, I was like, how the hell did I end up here? I've had to sort of, kind of muscle my way into this boxing world. And really it was because of, I do have to give a lot of credit to Nikisa of MVP. Like he called me to moderate the Tyson Jones presser that they were doing virtually for Triller. And I was like, oh wow, this is great. And there was a trickle down effect there. And now doing the stuff with previously Showtime and now DAZN has really been so much fun because it's just a different type of production and there's different liberties that you could take and there's different opportunities. And so I was in the role with Ade, like before the fight, talking about things and then going in the locker room and then the post-fight wrap-up stuff. Of course, I'd like to do more. Of course, I want to be working the whole time. But just to be a small part of that whole show in front of that many people, a fight that meant so much for heavyweight boxing, for boxing in particular, for boxing in the UK. I've told this to you guys before. Like, we can't even wrap our heads around how much more respect they give to boxing in particular in the UK as opposed to here. Like you're there midday listening to the radio and they're just talking about like the state of the heavyweight division. There's no radio station in America or North America that is talking about even like the biggest MMA or boxing story midday on a Friday afternoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not part of the mainstream culture. It's only the sports culture and then even subset. It's only the combat sports culture here in America.
It's so much fun. And it's really like their second major sport. Like we have here the NFL, the NBA, MLB, NHL, F1, NASCAR, golf, like for them, it's football, it's English football, it's Premier League championship, whatever. And then it's boxing in terms of like what they give attention to. MMA is not on the level just yet, but to think 98,000 people, the most for a British combat sports, obviously boxing and MMA event, you look there and when it's empty and you're like, how the hell are they going to fill this up? And they freaking filled it up.
It's insane.
They filled it up. Now, the first fight was completely empty. It was the Josh Padley, Mark Chamberlain fight where Padley wins. He was a plus 1,100 underdog. Chamberlain, everyone says, is Turkey's favorite fighter. And that was kind of shocking. It was weird when it was empty, but really shortly thereafter, it was filling up very quickly. It wasn't one of those where it was just like people there for
Vegas
the co-main.
crowd.
Yeah.
Main event only.
So it was amazing. Like I thought the card was great. I thought the fights were entertaining. They were hoping for a couple of, earlier stoppages to give us a little more time. But for me, it's like you came there to see fights. You were never bored. I got to go to the locker room a couple of times. I love those. Those are a tricky dance as well, because like, what are they really going to say 20 minutes before they fight? But I just love the opportunity to walk in there and the tension, and they're warming up, and then you come in and you ask a couple questions, then you have to like scurry off. Seeing people in the back was great, and then at one point, and we'll get to him more later on, they say like, go to the back, Conor's coming, and they're like, we need you to like go up to him and him see you so that you could get the interview. So that's why I posted this one video where I'm like literally walking up to him. He hits me with the patented shoulder strike there. Like I went for the hug and he nailed me with the shoulder. But we got the interview, and it was good to see him. Good to see Dave Fogarty. Good to see his partner D, and it's like he's like a freaking like he's like a Tasmanian devil. Like he comes with this whole freaking energy and entourage. And we'll talk more about what he said. But then I have to run to the main stage, and Ade does an interview with Eddie, and I do an interview with Frank. I don't know if you guys saw it. I don't know if you guys weren't watching live, right?
I did not see it live. I had to go back to it.
So Eddie, Frank, maybe you were watching.
Yeah.
It's okay. No, you guys don't have to. Like, I mean, it's kind of a big deal. It's like I'm not offended.
People there.
No. By the way, is his mic on?
It is. He's just not eating it right now.
Are you getting concerned about this?
No, because like I don't hear you as well as I hear myself.
Wow, yeah. Maybe it hasn't been on this entire time.
I'm just happy it's not me.
I
with the
hear
mic
him
technique
incredibly
for
well.
once.
Is your mic on?
Check now. 1, 2.
It
Here.
sounds a little different than EJ, but if you're saying it works, just talking to the mic.
Yeah, talking.
Okay, that's much better. That's much better. You did do
What'd you
some
do?
things
Did you
over
do-
there,
did you
Frank.
do
I think he just raised his levels.
I think he faked like he did something.
I turned him up in your
A
headphone.
little placebo.
Well, something. There's a moment. So we had a little bit of time to kill because the co-main was a quick one. Liam Gallagher's coming on, and so they say, you go, Ade, go talk to Eddie. I go talk to Frank. And I'm on the stage there, and I have like some photos. And at this point, they're playing all the hits. Do. Like all the, what's the other one? Na 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 na. They're just playing all the hits to get people excited and to keep them occupied.
The energy, yeah.
And I'm looking around at this thing, and I'm like, this is unlike anything I've ever experienced. 98,000 people for a boxing match, tiny ring in the middle, and these people are having the time of their lives.
Everyone's singing too.
Everyone's
Free From
singing.
Desire's playing.
Everyone's having the time. And I'm like, how the fuck did I end up here? I'm standing next to Frank Warren, Hall of Fame promoter, and like I'm here to talk to him. And at one point I tell him like, I cannot hear you. It is deafening in here. I hope you can hear me because I cannot hear a word that you're saying. God bless him. He said he could hear me just fine. And I was like, all right, something's wrong with me. And the energy was just, it was insane. So we do the interviews. Liam Gallagher plays.
I mean, how crazy is that? It's just like it transitions into Liam Gallagher.
Liam Gallagher.
Who just announced this huge tour, like it's as hot as
he
hot
walks
gets right
in.
now.
By the way, shout out to Liam Gallagher's bass player, who I saw at the coffee shop before the fight, who comes up to me and says he's a big fan. And I'm like, man, I loved Oasis as a kid. And he's like, well, I'm just on his. So apparently, like Liam and Noah have their own bands,
Shocking.
but the dudes who play for the bands don't play for Oasis.
Yeah.
So he's like,
so
oh,
he's
that's
just like, I was an Oasis fan too. I didn't play with them.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, no, I'm with Liam only. I'm like, oh, well, I still like him. But apparently he didn't rehearse. Frank, how about that? Didn't rehearse, rocked right up.
Pretty awesome.
They show a shot of him like walking into the thing. He's chewing on like a straw, and he just like walks right to the thing.
This is very what I would expect.
Yeah. So the place is going crazy. He doesn't play any Oasis songs. There was some rumor out there that they would both show up, Liam and Noel Gallagher. But to be honest, like if you just paid $1 gazillion for a reunion, you can't give it away.
Cannot do that. No.
It would be insane. I'd love to know what he got paid for that. I will say this: he kept it relatively short. And at home, it's a little bit different when you're at home. Look, full stop. I just want the fights. I don't need the concert.
Yeah.
Even if it's Eminem. Because Eminem in LA is not Liam Gallagher in London. So because he meant so much to those people, I don't think anyone minded, to be honest. I'd still rather just get into the fights. And honestly, I'd rather everyone involved just save the money and pay a fighter.
Sure, fair enough.
When all this was going on, I'm sitting ringside, and now ringside is becoming like an absolute zoo. It's not like the UFC where it's very controlled.
Yeah.
It is a freaking madhouse. Like I don't have a seat anymore, so I decide to go to the back, and I like to see the calm before the storm. So I'm standing right outside Daniel Dubois' locker room, and like I'm showing you guys as I'm talking about this, but like it's just there's something about being back there as these people are about to walk out, and like this is Daniel just like walking out, right? And like this dude is about to fight in front of 98,000 people and 1 million at home or whatever, and there's just something so calm and serene about that moment. It's
very still.
It
before
really
the
is like
madness.
modern day gladiator stuff. Like I'm sure you could hear how crazy the crowd was from like the tunnels under the stadium, like just crazy.
I feel this is such a blessing to be able to witness this.
Oh, yeah.
Especially and like here's AJ coming out to the Scarface music. Eddie's doing the Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Like you could just feel how important this is for all of them. The entrances were great. You could see how big it is, the magnitude of it all. And then I kind of make my way. I don't even have a seat, but I just make my way to ringside, and it's me and Rory McIlroy.
Are you kidding?
I swear to God. I'm watching the fight with Rory McIlroy.
love it.
I never say a word to him, but he's literally as close as Eric is to me.
That is insane. Yeah,
Yes.
I was gonna ask, can we get some more? Because like the videos that were coming out from the ringside of like Tyson Fury screaming and all of a sudden Usyk's down there, and then like I think at one video like Tyson's like yelling at Herky, he's just like, "You're gonna have to pay me," and in the back McGregor's just like chewing on a cigar.
got the
It's just
fat
like,
cigar.
what is going on?
Yeah, so I was on the opposite side of them, but so those two rows where McGregor and Turkey were sitting, they weren't sitting on the regular chairs. They all were sitting on like thrones.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, those just two rows. So it was like Conor, Terrence Crawford, Usyk. I saw him at the weigh-ins and said, I had to do the joke, and he just kind of like said, "Fuck you."
I was gonna say, get the
I was like, yeah.
I'm sure he's gotten that 1,000 times.
Yeah. Just like, I haven't heard that one.
Connor, Usyk, Fury are right next to each other. Spencer Brown, Fury's promoter, manager. And so those are like the two. I was on the opposite side, and Roy McIlroy is just sitting there. He's sitting next to Tony Bellew. Ade's there. Tony's freaking out. Like Tony was like straight up coaching AJ. Like he was freaking out during the whole fight. But it was crazy. Like Ollie Watkins was sitting over there. There were other celebrities.
It's a who's who of like
Roberto
UK.
Duran, Ricky Hatton. Like it's just
That's
like
ridiculous.
Oh, this is amazing. And then you're standing there, and it's like the best way I can describe it is it was like a heavyweight MMA fight. Like sometimes you get these boxing heavyweight fights, especially in the Klitschko eras where they're waiting, like these two freaking guys were like two bulls. It was like what you expect from a UFC heavyweight fight.
It was amazing, yeah.
It was amazing. And Dubois, by now he catches him early in the first round, and AJ never recovered from that. And you could tell he never recovered. His legs never recovered. Dubois fought the fight of his life on the night of his life, and he was not fazed by the moment.
What was the energy like? Was it a pro AJ crowd? Were
1,000,000%.
Okay, so it wasn't necessarily
95% AJ.
up England. It was.
Was it shock or was it like
It was like
pure
holy shit.
insanity?
Holy
did
shit.
did it
Everyone wanted.
silence?
It was just like, I can't believe this is happening. And you think it's flashbacks of the Andy Ruiz fight, but seeing him like struggle like that, you start to think of that fight in 2019. And this was supposed to be the coronation once again of AJ.
It was a redo.
It was, yes, once again, the third time heavyweight champion, back. This dude, man, I counted it up. That was his 6th stadium show. In total, as far as the people in attendance, over 500,000 people just in those 6 events. Like, to try to take anything away from this guy.
Oh, no.
They're so lucky they have him and Tyson. I mean, we have no one in America that can come close to that for a fight. The UFC as a brand is hot, but there is no fight in MMA or boxing in America that can sell out 98,000. Like what would it be? Michigan Stadium or Tennessee? Like what football stadium could do 100,000?
The big house in Michigan.
There's several, Michigan.
But there's no fight that could fill that up.
Alabama.
There's no fight. There's no fighter.
I mean,
You're saying specific like American fighter, and people would be coming out to.
Jake
like,
is the closest, in my opinion.
Paul?
Yeah.
He ain't selling that shit.
He's the only one who even can enter the conversation, in my opinion, for an American. Who else is in that conversation?
No, and he's going to try, but he's not going to get 98,000.
How many people do you think show up for like a stacked John Jones UFC card in a stadium?
Yeah, it's New York. You do 20. You do a basketball arena. That's what it is.
30 max.
Yeah.
Like if you
They
want to
do
make
like
it
a
special.
middle ground, like a baseball stadium.
Could they
like
go
50,000?
Allegiant Stadium? Can they do Allegiant Stadium and do 70,000?
I guess the exception here's the
They
difference.
do a
right?
stack. It has to be a stack card.
They're
This was
showing
for AJ.
They're showing up for AJ. The
Yeah.
difference would be John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Maybe you can get it. John Jones versus Francis Ngannou, but it's always a pairing. It's always the two. if you're talking about one singular guy, for my money, I think Jake Paul is the biggest right now. That's
he's not doing 98.
But he's probably not
He
doing
needs
that.
Tyson too.
What do
He
you
needs
think
Tyson.
Tom Aspinall is doing in England?
He could
You think he could do a 98,000 job?
No.
It's early.
But he also has the benefit of the UFC brand.
Yeah.
So the brand is hot, and Leon's going to be there, and this guy's going to be like, this was AJ versus Dubois. It was 95% in favor of AJ. And so everyone's just like jaw dropped, holy shit. But it's also, there's no time to breathe. Like he is 15, 20 more seconds in the first round, the fight's over. He gets saved by the bell. So now you're like, oh my God, he's going to blow it. The Fury fight's dead. Him going for undisputed is dead. Holy shit, can Dubois do it? Does he have the heart? This and that. Second round, Dubois wins again, and it's like AJ's hanging on for dear life.
Yeah.
He's like Bambi on ice.
Yeah, his legs were gone.
Yeah. Third round, I thought third round it was done. There's one point where Todd Grisham says it's over because the referee
It was a slip, right?
The referee seemed very pro AJ, like he was giving everything. He calls it a slip. He goes like this.
Yeah.
But it seems like then he's like, oh no, I mean like it wasn't a knockdown.
Calling it not a
It was a little bit weird. And then the fourth round, AJ's doing everything he can to survive. I thought he was not there. All of a sudden, though, he has a moment where he hits his chest. And he's like, I got this. And then he comes out fifth round. And I was like, holy shit, is this guy going to pull this off? Like, if he pulls this off, this is one of the greatest things that I've ever seen an athlete do.
Could you imagine the crowd pop had he done?
Oh, my God. The crowd would have absolutely lost this shit. Like, it would have been the loudest pop I've ever heard. He goes for broke. He has Dubois in the corner. He goes for the uppercut, and then he gets caught. And if you see the punch, I watched it 1,000 times. It's almost like Dubois just taps him. Obviously, it's much more than that, but it's not like a beautiful right.
The first one was that. The first one was a picture perfect. Oh my God!
Actual
punch.
picture perfect.
Yeah.
I think the viral picture is like
Yeah.
perfect.
The knockout was not, but he was so gone by then.
He falls face first. I can't even believe the ref was counting at that point.
Yeah. I've rewatched it probably like 20 times. He was counting like fairly quickly.
He was counting fairly.
He was like one.
It should have been waved off right there.
It was like 6, 7, 8, 9 time. We're good.
Yeah,
Couldn't
like this
stand.
is over, dude.
It wasn't shown on the broadcast, but credit to Ben Davison. He throws in the towel, and then he notices that the ref. I don't know. Was this on the broadcast?
They announced it on the broadcast at like 8. They're just like, the towel's in. It's over.
Yeah.
And then he sprints to help him because no one they were going to let him stand up and fall again. And Dubois, to his credit, and maybe this is just his personality, maybe he felt weird about it, he hardly celebrates. It's his whole team, his dad, his head trainer, Don Charles, they're all celebrating. He's just like stone-faced. I don't know if it's like, I don't know what I just did. I can't believe it.
I feel like it's just him.
Just feels like him, yeah.
It's him, like all the lead up all week, just man a few words, like even like the outfits and everything were just like all business.
All business. It's
just get me
great.
back to my hotel room so I can go to sleep so we can get close to the fight. That's all he was talking about. It was just like, I'm just ready to fight.
He's a machine. He's a cyborg. And there was a story that was talked about all week about how they sparred around 7 years ago, and there was a story that he rocked him or dropped him. No one really knows. And the story is that Frank Warren hears about this and runs to him essentially and says, I need to sign you.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy that 7 years later, there's Frank Warren, there's Dubois coming off a knockout of AJ, and it all comes back to AJ, right? And that's just how important he is to that market, to that country. And so unbelievable scene. People are going nuts. The interviews he says, are you not entertained? Like that's the best he could come up with. It's so classic.
Yeah.
And then everyone does their thing, and then we have to jet up and react to it all. And sometimes those moments are very hard because it's like, how do you put into words what you just witnessed? Now they came to us last, and so I had some time to gather myself. But even then, there's you're like, damn, I wish I said this. Damn, I wish I said that. So that's why when I walked back, and it was a 1-minute walk, I just went into the room and shot something quickly on the phone and put it up on the YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. If you haven't, if you want the immediate raw thoughts, some people said that my energy was low, that I looked tired. I mean, I was freaking tired, but that was me in the moment, reacting to it all. And we'll do more of those things. And then I slept for an hour and then went to the airport. And the great thing about flying home from England is that you get the 5 hours back. So went straight to soccer, and there we are. And so, okay, that's my trip. Now let's just talk about what happened. There are some people who say AJ's done.
What does done mean?
He's not done.
What does done
He says
mean?
he's not done.
He's not done, but he's not even done as a draw.
No.
Oh, for sure. You're still going to watch an Anthony Joshua fight.
If anything has been proven, as you illustrated, no matter what happens, he will continue to sell. He will continue to be a draw. He is somebody that people are invested in, win, lose, whatever. He is going to continue to be that guy. If you say done as a potential long reigning world champion, if you say like he is not going to ascend to the heights that potentially Tyson Fury had in his apex and now could continue if he rights the ship against Usyk, I could get there, right? I don't know. I don't think AJ is going to be the best heavyweight of this generation. I just don't think it's going to happen for him. It's too late.
He was once the best, and now he's no longer.
And now he is not, and I don't think he will have that as his what he is remembered for. But as a boxing personality, as a boxing product, as a fighter that people care to watch, it's not done. Of course, it's not done.
He's a fascinating guy, and people are always going to be interested in seeing fascinating people.
Had more conversation about what's next for in the time after? Dubois or Joshua?
Well, I think the Dubois one is easy. Dubois should fight the winner of Fury Usyk, period.
I think so,
now, there's some talk about this rematch clause, and now Frank Warren is saying there isn't a rematch. Don't exercise it if there is. And even if there is, I can see, Turkey, who I got to see in attendance and shook his hand. That was lovely. Saying
whoever snapped the picture too. I mean, an all-time pick.
Can I tell you? It's his personal photographer named Maud. She is from Marseille. She is brilliant. She isn't a big fight fan. He met her on some non-fighting thing and said, "You're going to be the photographer." And so she sent me like all these like very artsy photos. She's unbelievable. So I don't know if you were being.
I'm actually being serious.
Oh yeah. She's
a great picture. I mean, it's y'all are literally timing out the handshake.
Yeah.
It's a great
We did not plan that. No, Daniel Dubois. To me, it's very easy. He fights the winner of Fury Usyk on December 21st. AJ's next move isn't as easy. Obviously, he'll take some time. I think he's handling the loss incredibly well. And I gave him props for that. People are like, "Oh, you're giving him props for something he should do." Well, let's not forget 2 years ago, he had a complete meltdown in the ring in Saudi Arabia, threw the belts out of the ring and was crying on the dais. This time,
everybody killed him for it.
Yeah. This time he's like, "Man, I rolled the dice. It's sport. I'm a gladiator. I'll be back." And I'm like, "Yeah, good for you. You matured." As he told me, "What's the difference? I've matured. You have matured. So good on you, and you deserve that props." It's not easy being in his shoes, man. 98,000 people. The guy just got knocked out cold.
He's the one they were there for, and he feels like he let him down. That's a tough spot.
If Fury loses on December 21st, I personally think he will. Fury, AJ is the fight to make in the third quarter of 2025. Now, like Ade was arguing with me, and I understand. Are the stakes the same? No. But you're not. Now there's a different story to tell. They're both backs against the wall. They're both coming off losses. Fury double losses. AJ knockout loss. Finally, we get to see the two giants. No belts, no nothing. Who's the better man? Who's not watching that?
And if you do it in a stadium in England, it's going to sell 100,000
1,000,000%.
seats, just like this one just did.
Who's not watching that? Joseph Parker wants to be on that December 21st card. I would like to see him fight Martin Bakole. There's Kubayel out there. Either one of those fights, he has to fight on that card, in my opinion, to time himself. But Dubois should be next. Fury loses, he fights AJ. I think he will lose. I think it'll be a great fight, but ultimately someone has to win. Zhang is out there. He's obviously going to be in the mix, but Parker is above him because Parker just beat him. And that's the heavyweight division. If Fury wants to take a long time, then maybe AJ Hrgovic. AJ Zhang is a fight that would be of interest to me. Like there's still
AJ Zhang.
What do you do if Fury wins?
What if Fury wins though?
Usyk, Dubois, rematch? No, I guess
no.
you have
If
to
Fury
do
wins,
Dubois,
it's Fury Dubois.
But you can't.
But what do you
then
do?
You can't do Usyk AJ 3.
No,
I guess you could, but like there's be no point.
Yeah,
and give me
Parker
like
Usyk.
Parker. Yeah,
I mean Parker Usyk would be sick.
So what happens for AJ?
AJ fights like a Hrgovic.
And then what? One more, and does he get to Tyson?
Yeah. That fight is still a thing, man. It would be a travesty. Look, and some people were asking me about Wilder. Like to me,
nah, man.
The state of AJ on Saturday and over the last 4 fights, much different than the state of Deontay Wilder.
Agreed.
Wilder looked like crap in December, and he did not look good in June.
No.
Like I honestly, someone said like the only fight I ever want to see Wilder in is Ngannou, a fun boxing. Yeah, I'm down. I'm depending on how Ngannou looks in October, but like I'm not signing. Give me like Wilder versus like a Robert Helenius. Give me like Wilder versus like that type of fighter. I mean, like a top 25. I don't need to see him against a top 8 guy. Not right now. No way. Absolutely not. So he's not really factoring into things. But this isn't the end, and it's a great card. It's a great result. what were people complaining about in heavyweight boxing back in the day? It was too predictable. It was Klitschko's. It was hugging. It was boring decisions. This is what we love. Unpredictability.
And there's
Killer be
so
killed.
many players right now, and like
So
these
good.
personalities that are starting to come out, like Usyk rocking just like the
you
all
look
gray with the
sick.
blue tinted glasses,
You
and
look
like they're
sick.
all just kind of
Hair
like
was slicked back.
they're like kind of whining and dining each other, talking to each other. Like it's great, man. I mean, there's a lot of drama in the heavyweight division of boxing.
What is most curious for me is when AJ does come back, are we going to get the I've rebuilt myself narrative again?
Maybe.
Because we've gotten that a few times now. I'm curious if he goes
He
back
released
to
a
that.
video this morning where he was just
Yeah.
like, "It's time to come back for the third time now."
Look,
So I think we
part
will
of the
get
narrative coming into this fight was him and Ben Davison.
Yeah.
God, I love Ben. He says afterwards, I've gotten a lot of praise for all this, sometimes too much. I deserve the criticism for this. And
like
to be
that.
fair, that clip that came out of him, I think it was in between the fourth and fifths, saying like, go for it, roll the dice. And there's a BBC clip of Shane McGuigan, who used to train Daniel Dubois, saying like, I don't agree with that. If you do that, you are going to get caught. And literally 2 minutes later, he gets caught. I am surprised that Davison said, like, who the fuck am I? But like, what I think they should have done is like, try to ride out the next 3 rounds. Just try to get your legs back on. And he went for it. And God bless him for going for it. But that was clearly a mistake. And so to Ben's credit, he says, give me the criticism, which I think is incredible. Here's the other great thing about the current state of heavyweight boxing, and this isn't a commentary on whether it's good or bad, and we can have that conversation all day long. But the fact that Turkey and Saudi Arabia are involved, there are no more roadblocks. So before it would be like, this guy is promoted by this guy and this guy. Like, no, Fury AJ has never been closer to happening, even though he just lost, because Turkey is involved, because they are involved.
We don't fear that we lost it for good now
Exactly.
because of the state
Right.
of boxing.
I do wonder he goes back now. Like, you go to those fights in Riyadh, cool. And I understand why they want them in Riyadh. But there's no way that he goes back to his room or wherever he goes on Saturday and says, holy shit, there were 98,000 people there. We got to plaster with Riyadh season logos.
Yeah.
They sang the Saudi Arabian national anthem before the fight. Like, how is this not good for us? You know what I mean? The difference in the experience and the atmosphere between that and what I experienced in March, astronomical. That was one of the greatest sporting events that I've ever witnessed live. The one in March was void of a lot of atmosphere. It was happening at 3 a.m. to cater to, like, this couldn't have been more perfect. And the fact that it ended before 11 because of this, like, everything about it was perfect.
And honestly, every time they put on one of these massive shows and he creates these fights that we never thought we were ever going to be able to see, he just, like, it's almost like the legend of him grows, and like the legitimacy and just the power within the sport just continues to grow.
It's fascinating when you compare it to other sports. In other sports, they're, as we talked about, like, they're kind of viewed as disruptors and nuisances, right? In golf, in soccer, but in boxing, they're hailed as heroes.
Yeah, they're like the saviors of the
Yes.
sport.
It's a fascinating thing. And so let's see how it plays out. December 21st is a big one. The next one is October 12th, by the way, Beterbiev versus Bivol, which is going to be
In an unbelievable fight.
It's no accident, though. Think about what those other sports are looking at, right? When you think about golf or you think about football, they're taking athletes that you want to see compete against the other pool of athletes and removing
They're
them.
literally
taking them
disrupting
out of it.
Yeah, like they are disrupting.
Boxing,
They're
they are
bringing them
bringing
together.
them together. They are bridging things, and they are creating the matchups that people want to see. It is opposite, and it is why it is so favorable.
100%.
On Thursday, boxing was a big topic throughout the week because on Thursday evening, Dana White was in Dublin to promote the King Callum Walsh fight, which aired on Friday on UFC Fight Pass, and he did a deal with TNT Sports in the UK. Apparently, the Warrens, Queensberry, they had to give him the green light to remove their exclusivity, and they did. He's going all in with this kid, and there he was at the 3 Arena, winning once again. But he did one of those like classic. Dana doesn't do these. It's funny. Like, he puts himself out there for Power Slap and for this kid and the boxing ventures, unlike in the UFC. And so he did one of those where, like, you could just ask him whatever you want. And he was asked about his boxing plans, his interest in boxing, and this was reminiscent to the Mayweather McGregor era, 2017 to 2019. And shout out to Jedi Goodman. Did you guys see this thread?
Compilation, yeah.
Oh, man, I looked through it like 3 times.
It was amazing. He got them all. I don't know how he does this. He got every single one. And so Dana says, like, yeah, I'm going all in. He compared himself right now to HBO Sports, which I think is interesting. And I understand what he's trying to say, which is, hey, we're a platform. Come work with us. I would strongly argue that DAZN is that right now because of their deals with MVP, with Matchroom, with Golden Boy, with Salida and others. But fine, I get it. And he says, I'm going all in. And so I'm curious to know what that means. Some people like wanted me to talk shit about it, but I won't because I'm very curious. And I would argue strongly that there is a greater chance of it finally happening now as opposed to back then for two reasons. Number one, TKO. He's there with Endeavor. They've got the wrestling pillar. They've got the MMA pillar. The boxing pillar makes all the sense.
Big hole, yeah.
There was a rumor in January that they were buying Top Rank. Who knows what will happen? We know Dana adores boxing. We know Nick Khan, who's the president of WWE, adores boxing. His entrance into the world of agencies was boxing. It was Freddie Roach and Manny Pacquiao. That's how he got into representation. And so it makes all the sense in the world. And oh, by the way, everyone's very close with a guy named Turki Al-Sheikh. And we know what he wants to do. And so this is very, very possible. And I'm curious to see. I got annoyed. There's a young guy named Charlie Parsons, YouTube guy. And he asked me for an interview. And, you know, the boxing YouTube scene is a fascinating one because they all run around, they do the interviews, and God bless them, and everyone should have a place and make a living and follow your dreams. But they come up with the most ridiculous titles for their YouTube videos. So he asked me for an interview and I do it, and it ends up being Ariel Helwani raw hits back at Dana White for boxing plans. And I went up to him on Saturday. I was like, there was nothing raw about that, and there was no hitting back. I just was saying exactly what I'm saying here. Why do you do this? He's a young kid and he's great at what he does, but like that shit annoys me to no end. There's no hitting back. There was no hitting back. In fact, I say what I would say to Dana is the water is warm. Jump in.
Yeah.
I've been here waiting for you. I would love to have you a part of this scene. You've been talking about it for a while.
Interviews just about boxing. He just won't talk MMA with you.
Oh, that'd be great. Imagine. Yeah, we're not talking UFC. We'll only talk about King Callum Walsh. But I'm curious to see what happens. I just will say I think there's a better chance now more than ever for it to happen.
But to the point you made earlier, there's nothing to react to, right? Like it's like Dana White saying he's going to get into boxing, but he said this 15,000 times.
The best part was that
mean?
I've never really said that I'm like, this is the first time I've ever said I'm really getting into it. And then the thread is just like countless clips.
The thread is like, we're announcing next month our plans. Everyone's talking like, yo.
There was one point in like October 2020 was just like, oh yeah, this is happening. And then like the next month he did an interview on SportsCenter and he's just like, I haven't said shit. Yeah. I haven't said anything.
But there's nothing to like criticize or there's nothing to tout because there's nothing here that has happened.
The only reason why I think it's even worth talking about is because of TKO and Turkey.
He is a powerful man with a powerful company underneath him, with a powerful company above him that supports him. There is a prime atmosphere for this. If he is to get into the boxing game, it will be major news. It will be a major development. There's a big thing happening there. But again, we have heard this for years now. Like there's nothing here that would have anybody to anything to criticize because we don't know what it is yet. If it were to happen, if there is something that develops out of this, I think it would make a lot of sense to acquire a promotion and then essentially have the infrastructure and build it up, like you said, with a rumor with Top Rank. Then it would be a huge deal. It would be a massive thing to talk about. But for now, it's just Dana White saying, I'm getting into boxing for the umpteenth time.
I will say this, though. He cannot use the same business model that he uses. Like this idea that I'm going to come in and... I love when he says, I'm going to save boxing, I'm going to fix boxing. Yo, there were just 98,000 people on a card.
If anyone was going to do that, it would be Turki Al-Sheikh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's already happened, really. You know? There's nothing to save.
No.
You want to get in? Great. But there's absolutely nothing to save whatsoever.
I think it would be accurate, and maybe what he is trying to say is like there is a way that he feels he can bring something that changes it, right? Based on his learnings from the UFC, that there is something radical that he could bring in that structurally might be different from a standpoint, like a technical standpoint, that he might be able to do. He's going to have some difficulties if he tries to replicate the model, that there is just no way that you can build the roster the same way that has been done in the UFC. But I do think there is probably something that he has learned that he could implement that would be different than existing boxing models. But it is not saving boxing. It would just be a different version of boxing, potentially.
Right.
Boxing's also had a pretty tremendous year.
Yeah, it's had a tremendous year. It's also had a tremendous lifespan. Boxing has been around for quite a while. Like I think if there was somebody
over a century
who was going to come in and disrupt it that radically, it might have happened already. But either way, I don't even know what to like. It's almost the most non-news thing I can possibly think of. I'm so indifferent. I'm so what's the word? Not despondent, but like it has no effect on me when Dana White says I'm going into boxing anymore because we have seen this.
I do think the climate is a little bit different.
Sure.
And I'm curious to see how it plays out.
When he does it, I will care.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. All right. So that was the boxing side of things. Speaking of Dublin, I did catch up with Conor
Our
McGregor,
old
as
friend.
I said.
Yes.
It was good to see him.
What did the shoulder check feel like? Like,
Bro, he hit me. I felt it.
Shape?
Are we okay?
Feels good?
Are we?
Shape. He was in great form. He had the
70,
cigar.
185.
It was too quick. It was too quick. But he always makes time, and I appreciate that. And he did confirm what Dana said: no 2024 fight.
Yeah.
He said 2025. I thought it was interesting that he called the conclusion of the 2 fights that are left on his deal the promised land.
I
thought that was the most interesting part. He was very quick to plug his BKFC deal with DAZN.
Going right. I mean, that was
October 12th in Marbella.
Spain, our guy.
Oscar
and Oscar
Ben. Yeah, it's a big one. Unfortunately, I can't go because it's Yom Kippur. So
and we have
the show.
some
Yes.
A couple things going on.
a little.
But, I didn't want to just get into it all there. But I also asked him. I pressed him who's going to be the guy. He's like, I don't know. But then he did say Chandler
at the very end.
So what was your take on what we saw from Conor? That's up on my Twitter page now or on DAZN.
I knew he wasn't going to fight in 2025. I think we all kind of arrived there, but it was good. Sorry, 24. Thank you, Frank. But
was that an early prediction?
No, it's not. I'm confident and hopeful that he fights in 25. I think to the point that he made to Ariel, he needs it. Like, it's time to get this fight on the books, and it's also time to move toward the end of the contract and into potentially the promised land, which I also found the most fascinating part of this, because the UFC has long done this thing where they talk about, and Dana White in particular has talked about, like, Conor's not really ready. He's not really ready. And you'll be like, well, what does that mean? Conor said he's ready. What does that actually mean? And they'll be like, he's not in training. He's not really ready. There's a misalignment here that is happening with the UFC and Conor McGregor, where Conor McGregor wants to get these fights out, but they're not ready to give it. And I wonder how intentional some of this is, because at the end of these 2 fights, there's going to be, and maybe they'll be able to negotiate with them before that, but at the end of these 2 fights, there is going to be a real reckoning to be had from both sides.
Do you think, I floated the idea, I don't know, this is just a hypothesis. Why are they waiting so long? I believe that there is a negotiation to be had for their new TV deal at the end of 2025.
Yeah.
It's a lot better to be sitting with networks when you say you have Conor McGregor on your roster.
Got him for at least 2.
Yeah. Rather than, there's no other explanation. Why isn't he fighting in December? Why isn't he fighting in January? Why is it all up in the air?
I think that may be part of it. My other thing is, it's just better to have Conor McGregor under contract than elsewhere.
Sure.
Free.
Yeah. So this is the Francis game we saw. This is the Nate game. It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. It definitely sucks. He will fight. He will fight at some point in 2025. I would have thought that it would have happened in 2024. He will fight.
The dream is he fights twice, like he said his plans are, and then he's done with the deal.
I don't know about that.
I mean, of course, I don't know about anything that he says. I mean, like, for the last however X many years, it's just like, this was said, this didn't happen.
I don't think it's on him. I think there's a real world where he fights in 2025ve.
But then
they ice him for a bit, and then they just don't want him to fight.
Oh, yeah.
I guess the result also
I don't think it's him.
I could see a first or second quarter fight, and then it drags into the new TV deal.
That's what
2026 second
could
fight,
see happening.
and then who knows what happens in between.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if Chandler loses to Oliveira, does that ruin?
I have so little interest in Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor. Zero.
Period.
If Oliveira wins,
even if he wins,
I don't give a flying.
Wait. If Chandler knocks out Oliveira, you don't want to see it?
Who cares?
Oh, so who are you picking?
Nate Diaz. Sign Nate Diaz and do the fight. Why do we?
They're not happy with Nate.
Great. I don't care.
They're not going to give it to him. They're not going to give it to let's talk realistic, though. They are mad at Nate Diaz.
Versus Oliveira?
Ooh.
I don't care.
Oliveira is a star. Like, he is massive.
Let me say it this way.
But he just won't sell it as much. It won't be.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they're not going to be able to shit talk each other.
Saw the
I
sell.
don't need it.
No.
I don't need any specific
I don't need
opponent.
any of those.
I really just need Conor McGregor to
That's
fight
correct.
whoever it's against.
I don't need Michael Chandler. I'd be fine with Michael Chandler. I don't need Michael Chandler.
Chandler would be great because it's going to be an all-action fight, and someone's probably going to get finished, and like he will sell it on the lead-up. Like, he's a fine opponent.
What's the next move after Michael Chandler?
I think the number one is probably Diaz. Like,
it's Diaz.
Listen, I think the Diaz fight makes the most sense just given where they're both at. But they weren't happy when he left. They weren't happy he fought Jake, and they weren't happy he lost to Jake. 3 things, and they will They will cut their nose to spite their face.
Yeah.
Like, and by the way, it's not like you need Nate to get a big time buy rate from Conor.
But
that's just the one that makes the
business,
most
though,
sense.
you need Nate to get the biggest buy rate from Conor. And if you're the big, I'm not saying that you need him to get a big buy rate. To get the biggest possible right.
Yeah.
Who could you get that is bigger than Nate Diaz right now?
No, it's the one that makes the most sense. I just don't. Is there a massive drop off between Nate, Chandler,
In my opinion,
Oliveira?
yes.
Is there
In my
massive?
opinion, yes.
I don't know.
I think
like
there's a big
how
drop-off.
big of a drop off?
A big one.
Like 1.8 million pay-per-view buys to 1.3,
3, 2,
Very
1.
much, huh?
I do.
Really?
I think Nate
Even
Diaz.
Nate after losing to Jake.
Again, Nate and Conor now are both in a point where they are not subject to wins, losses, whatever. It is a fight pairing that is unmistakable. Like the Michael Chandler news, I'm not personally. Is there anybody who's going, man, I can't believe we missed Chandler and Conor again? I don't think so. I don't think that fight has the juice.
I think most people are saying that are just saying, I can't believe we missed
Conor.
a Conor McGregor fight again.
I don't think Michael Chandler adds anything super special to that recipe. Do I think it's a fine fight? Do I think Oliveira is also a fine fight? These are all great fights. I don't think he adds anything to the recipe. I think Nate Diaz does add something to the recipe.
Can I tell you what was most interesting to me? Okay, so we heard Dana say what he said about Conor, and then Conor confirms it to me.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking about actually after was like, all right, so who's headlining December 7th? Because let's just go through the list very quickly. Heavyweight is John Jones fighting November 16th, right? Is it the 16th or 15th?
16th.
16th is Saturday. I keep getting confused.
Yeah, because Tyson
Jake is, so that's out of the picture. 205 is Pereira Roundtree. I mean, yes, Pereira could fight 2 months later or Roundtree, I guess, but let's just remove that one because it's a bit of a quick turnaround. 185 is Dricus. Could you maybe do Dricus versus Sean? But Dricus has shown that he doesn't love these quick turnarounds, right? All right, so maybe not. 170 is Bilal versus Shavkat.
Bilal versus Shavkat.
As the main event, pay-per-view?
It's a good fight.
All right, let's see if we can add something to it. 155 is Islam not happening, right? It seemed like Armin said that. Yeah.
145.
145 is Ilya in October, late October, not happening. 135 just happened. I don't know. Can you ask him to turn around that quickly, Merab?
I feel like you have a better chance of getting DDP to turn around over Merab.
I think you start with a baseline of Bilal versus Shavkat.
Pantoja hasn't fought in a while. May.
That's under, right? That's
Yeah.
Yeah, you make it a 2-title fight.
Who the hell is Pantoja fighting? Because Tatsura, we thought was going to be the guy.
Yeah.
There's no real.
When's Kaya Asakura?
It could be Kaya Asakura, yeah. I think you start with Bilal and Shavkat, and then you say,
let's go to the women. What about
DDP?
What about Zhang?
Yeah, when is Zhang fighting again?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And why did they book Tatiana Suarez on the same day against Virna? Love Virna, love Tatiana, but why did they just give us Tatiana versus Zhang?
Do you just do Val versus Zhang?
Shevchenko.
Yeah.
I like that. Val versus Zhang.
You just do Val versus Zhang to make that.
Because Shavkat getting a title shot is huge for the real.
It's not going to do great for
hardcore fans. No, I know it's not going to hit the mainstream.
The same way they started with 300, you go, okay, we've got this. We've got 170.
Yeah.
We've got Bilal versus Shavkat. It doesn't, just like Bilal versus Leon, it didn't quite have that extra to bring it. You start there. Then you say, okay, can we push to DDP? If you can't, then you say, can we push to Pereira? If you can't,
but by the way, you need something for January too. We don't know where January is yet.
The one that you don't get onto January. DDP in January.
We do McGregor in January.
I don't think so. I feel like we're too close to get him in January. Maybe
I'm just really curious what they do with that. I guess you do Shavkat versus Bilal. I feel like that needs another one.
If Alex or Khalil come out unscathed, then you just go
Shevchenko.
turn around one more, and then you could do Zhang.
We'll have time to talk about that.
Who does Alex Pereira fight against Magomed?
No,
if he wins, you mean?
Yeah,
Tom Aspinall.
Well, Magomed has someone else.
Yeah, Magomed does have someone else.
He's never getting.
Who's he have? Rockage?
I feel something weird about the Khalil Alex fight. It seems like one of those like throwaways that is going to ruin all the plans.
I think no matter who wins that, you've got a real winner out of that one.
Well, we by the way, we were really dark during the announcement for that fight, and like remember I was saying for the long time
we were beating that.
You guys
drum
were
for a long
laughing
time.
at me.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, you were the number one drum
We
beater.
weren't laughing at the idea. We were just saying
it is
like,
absurd.
It's
absurd that this guy who only fought at the Apex and is coming off suspension got the title fight. But I love it. I'm not hating on it. I love the style matchup.
It's just like the biggest anti-Magomed Goliath campaign.
It's only absurd because Magomed exists, and they're just like, no.
By the way, way better fight.
Oh, who is mad
From
about
a
that?
pure excitement standpoint, way better fight.
I just feel like something crazy is going to happen. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
No matter who
Get
wins
Khalil
that,
Roundtree for
you've
like
got
plus
a
350
you've
right
got a bona
How much?
fide
How much?
guy.
Like plus 350.
Plus 350.
Alex Perez is a pretty big favorite.
Listen to the excitement. If this was Magomed, would we
It's going to be a sick
like,
fight. Someone is going to get
That
knocked out.
card is good. That whole
it's
card
a
is good.
fantastic
Stacked.
card.
It's
Stacked.
flying under
Who
the
did we
radar. I
lose?
feel like.
We lost someone. Aljamain's out of the Mozart
Yeah.
fight. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that sucked.
Still a great card. Just
Mozart
bump up.
wants to stay
Jose Aldo was on the prelims.
Yeah. Oh,
Bump
yeah.
him up.
There's several great fights on that prelims, and then of course, obviously, Parlay Pal Juliana Payne. You're going to get the strap.
Yeah. I was talking to Kayla on Saturday. She's ready to go. She had surgery. But the fight to make at 135 is Juliana versus Kayla.
Yeah.
That's the fight.
Right.
That
After
is the fight.
If they
Juliana
both
gets the
win.
belt back.
They
Yes.
both win.
We'll have some time to talk about that one. Very quickly, UFC back this weekend. Feels like it's been it's crazy what a 1 week off does,
It
right?
feels bizarre.
Yeah.
Makes you crave it more, in my opinion. I love it.
Could you imagine
Yeah.
if it was like 2 months?
It'd be
Just
I don't know about that.
one summer break. Imagine they gave us a summer break.
I don't want that.
No,
I
fans
want
don't want that,
three
I know.
cards. I want 3 cards a month instead of 4.
3 cards a month, and you
One
do
off week.
One off week.
an Apex, a fight night in a major city, and a pay per view.
That's it.
They're back in Paris this weekend. Money Moicano returning.
Let's
Return
go.
of BSD flying under the radar of this fight. I
Yeah.
feel like the BSD story in particular is massive. Coming off the knockout loss to Dustin in March, which feels like 10 years ago now. Paris is always incredible. An incredible venue, an incredible crowd.
Crowd is going to be
Who's the
nuts.
favorite right now? Do you know?
I actually don't know.
Moicano is on a roll.
It's got to be BSD though. I mean, the air of invincibility that he had before that Poirier fight.
He's currently Moicano a plus 220 according to Tapology,
Yeah, makes
and a minus 270 BSD. It's at the Accor Arena, which is where I saw Canada lose to France in the quarterfinals of the Olympics. Yeah, great venue, very cool venue. There's like grass on the side of it. It's very cool. That fight is tremendous, very important in the lightweight division. And the co-main is very important as well. Nasruddin Imavov coming off that somewhat controversial win over Jared Cannonier, if you recall.
The stoppage was a little bit
And
early in most people's minds.
Imavov, a big favorite, minus 210 to Brendan Allen, who has
He's on a roll as well.
been on a tremendous run of late.
Are you surprised by that?
Minus 210 to plus 180? That does seem surprising to me. Brendan Allen's won like what, 6
Do you
straight?
think it's because he's home?
I think it's because most people do think of Imavov as like the guy. I think that people have not jumped off the bandwagon. They believe that he is going to be the future champ. That's my assessment of it. Like the performances have not lived up to what he has been projected to be, but I do think people still project him in that way. That's my amateur assessment.
Any
Also,
bets? Any picks?
That last time out against Chris Curtis, I think you could have given that fight to Chris Curtis for
Think that's why?
Brendan Allen. Maybe, I don't know.
Any picks?
I haven't placed any yet.
But to be fair,
do you
that
do
was
this?
also
Do you do this when we're on hiatus or no?
I've been much more relaxed. I
Yeah.
haven't been grinding the tape, making 15 bets every single week.
It's good to like.
It's nice. It's been nice. I'm not gonna lie.
to be fair to Brendan, that was a short notice. So
Yes, it
it's a
was.
hard assessment to
Sure.
make. I think this is just a really good fight. I love this fight.
It's
I
a
like
great
both
fight.
fights.
Yeah, both those top two are super solid.
Steamroller, Matt Frivola going as well.
Let's
That
go.
was exciting when he gets
Morgan
in there.
Charrier's on there. Yeah, it's one of those classic Faraz Ziam. It's one of those classic. Oh, our good friend Eileen Perez of Argentina
shout out.
returning.
Her Marab getting after it in Vegas a few weeks ago.
No, the crowd is going to be great. This begins at 12 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus on Saturday.
Saturday's just a beautiful day for me. We're gonna ride the UFC Paris card straight into Georgia, Alabama, 7:30 kick. It's a prime Saturday.
I know we have to get out of here. 2 things quickly. 1, it's so nice for me to be able to consume content and
Yeah.
not be thinking about social media. And 2, this is so much fun. I love these
These
pods.
pods are fun.
This is the best.
This was kind of like our. Remember we did the crust first?
oh yeah,
we
this
discussed-
is crust firsty.
Does this have to be a thing? No, it doesn't have to be a thing. There's going to be a time where this won't be needed as much.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of platforms for people to consume.
All right. We have to take this home because we have a plethora of meetings to get to. You guys don't care about that, but we're going to continue to give you guys this stuff. A couple quick housekeeping notes, as they like to say. Please sub to the feed. Please like. Please comment. Please follow. All those things are important. On the YouTube side of things, I always forget saying this. Please sub, like, comment, all that.
Hit the notification. Hit the
Notification too for good measure. more content is to come. PT show is to come on the feed. The Ade show is to come as well. There might be a new merch drop. I haven't really plugged the merch. ArielHelwani.com. I understand a lot of people have been posting photos. They're starting to come in this week. Of course, my good friends here, none of them have purchased any stuff, but it's fine. I'm not upset about it. I even gave them 100% off, friends and family. But they buy everyone else's merch.
Sent that code for us?
Yeah, no, it's.
I actually don't think I've gotten that one yet. I'd love to check it out.
Someone who is getting some free merch is at ABARNARD03, just Adam, who posted a photo today of a crown tattoo on his arm. Even showed us a different shot. I wasn't sure if it was real. It's real. An uncrowned logo tattooed on his arm. That is unbelievable.
It's real. This is like, inarguably, as someone who's sat through all these design meetings and everything, this is our logo. Like, he's even got the little like paint speckles and everything.
Yeah.
Like, he took these.
I just didn't know if he did some crazy Photoshop.
Yeah, like AI did. Yeah.
I mean, you can see the red and everything like that. It's crazy. One last housekeeping thing.
Oh yeah, I wasn't done with my housekeeping.
Oh, I'm sorry. Continue.
I just want to say thank you to him. Thank you to the people who bought. And if you want to buy merch, ArielHelwani.com. Please send me photos. I will repost, retweet, and thank you profusely. And I also did want to give a very quick shout out to our Nottingham Forest, one of 4 unbeaten teams left in the Prem, and to our guy Brennan Johnson, back-to-back goals, deactivated his social media last week. I did a bit of a rant in his favor on Sky Sports. Did you see that?
I saw you defending him.
Oh my gosh. I went on a rant, and then I got a nice message from the family. It was nice. I sort of took.
Is that T2? Is Tottenham T2 for you?
He's my guy.
You're just a Brennan Johnson. Wherever he goes, you go.
I just took it by storm. I come there and it's just like everyone wants to talk to the American. Anyway, housekeeping from you.
I just want to give an update on the Ariel Helwani Show fantasy football team.
Oh yeah, I heard there was controversy yesterday. Did you hear about the controversy?
What with PT accidentally dropping Greg Kittle instead of putting him on a bench? Yeah, it's not.
Dropped him.
Yeah.
Like literally dropped him from the team.
Yes, it's not controversy. It's mismanagement by PT Carroll. I mean, I'm getting all these texts as we're about to kick off. We're tied right now with the number 1 team in the league going into Monday night. Obviously, your Bills playing against the Jaguars. We got Josh Allen and James Cook. They have Jaden Daniels, who's also playing, Monday night doubleheader. But
you got 2 and they got 1?
Yeah, we're projected to win by 15, but it's looking like we're about to be 3-0, boys.
Okay, hold on. What happened with Kittle?
Oh, he literally dropped him from the team as opposed to benching
did we add him back? Like,
he got it all sorted. So I actually didn't have my phone on me. I was watching Arsenal Man City.
What a game.
At a local bar. Fantastic game.
When you say you don't have your phone on you, like, do you literally leave it at home?
Yeah, leave it at home. Leave it in the glove box of my car.
That's nuts.
Completely
How do you
disconnect.
Do that?
It's actually amazing, and the amount of times that I feel for my pockets to like check for it, it's so free.
Can you do this, Rick?
I could never.
No, that's
neither of you guys could ever do it. I mean, the amount of times where it's just like it's the phone is almost like another person in the room. It's just like Ariel's talking to his phone. Hey, Rick's on his phone.
That's actually not true. I don't think that's true. But
there's times where Rick, I'm like, he can't hear us right now. I'll talk to Frank while Rick's sitting right here.
You feel there's times you're talking to me or about me and I'm not listening?
1,000%. Yeah.
That's such bullshit.
You guys have to lock in on your phones. It's not an indictment on you. You guys have to lock in.
I will not deny.
Wow. If they're texting each other.
You can tell when the neck gets craned. And like I could just be like,
I need to work on that.
He'll put it down
there's
and
a
be
small
like,
fire in the kitchen. We need to evacuate the building now. You just be like,
nah.
My favorite
just 1
is
second.
he'll put the phone down and he's like, so you guys want to do something? It's like,
no.
he just throw like
The best part is when you're saying this while Ariel does it, the go-to line for Ariel is just 1 second.
No. Wow.
Just 1 second.
Yeah, I must just ignore it, right?
Rick,
I don't even.
Ricky,
I don't even.
It's just a.
So at least I have the courtesy of.
Connor and I
You heard something, but you don't know what you heard.
At least it's not Rick keeping his Ring notifications on for the world to hear.
Like, Jesus,
right?
we need to know every time a squirrel passes by your front door. My God.
I've never heard anything like this. We need to know about every, like, you sit and talk to this guy and you'll get 40,000 Ring notifications. Who wants to hear this? Then you'll get Slack notifications. Then you'll get tweet notifications. How does your wife
Instagram
live like
DMs.
this? Is your wife the same way?
Okay, so let me say 2
problem.
things here. One, I accept all this. That's a difference, right? Helwani's trying to deflect this. I don't. I know exactly who I am. Number 2, I need to know. I need to be in the know. What's the point of having these things if not to be notified by
the
them?
notifications.
Every notification
I play
is
a
on.
dangerous game of not getting.
I need everything.
I don't get notifications. My phone has not vibrated for, I think, 2-3 years. So it never vibrates.
I know you. I mean, your replyability your ability to reply to almost everything
It makes it a little scary, the fact that I don't get notifications but reply so fast,
Yeah.
right?
Don't reply.
You can
it
really,
speaks volumes.
you can really tell when Helwani is on, when he's on planes, because he locks in. Like it's like he gets the Wi-Fi, and it's like when you know Helwani is just like the response is like he can't like you respond to him, and then you set the phone down, and before you even put it down, he's already responded.
We had what would have been like a 2-hour call just over text, and then the Woes news drops in the middle, and I'm like, oh, by the way, like I know we're rolling right now, but by the
Isn't
way,
that better
Woes
than
just
the
retired.
alternative? Isn't
Yes,
it
it's
better
way
than
better than the
someone just
alternative.
being MIA?
I give you massive credit for your like. I think I was saying it to Rick the other week. I was like, the fact that he's able to just get back to everyone all the time and like
I
just
don't
maintain
like,
all these relationships is astounding.
it annoys me when people don't get back to me, so I don't want to be that person to other
Yeah.
people.
I mean, there's times where I go to the.
Of how long do they have to get back to you?
Until I get
Ask it for a
fucking
friend.
pissed. Until I like I wish.
Where you send the wave
Is
emoji.
that 30 seconds? Is that 5 minutes?
Oh, they wave emoji. Don't get me started. I mean, I sent a thing to the Slack to the group channel. It's like, hey, can you guys get this up? 5 hours later, there's nothing going on.
Wave emoji.
What's the? Is there an excuse or?
You don't have to.
No, this
talk
wasn't.
about
This
that.
wasn't my place here.
It's a group
There was
effort.
an at, there was one at.
There's a the wave emoji is like yo, 1 hour. Frank is the answer.
There's times where I step
Can I
aside
tell you,
and go to the
There's
bathroom
no
and I come
excuse.
back.
There's no excuse in this day and age. We all know that we're tied to our phones, except for Connor apparently. Like, there's no excuse when someone says like I miss it. I'm like, no. I was talking to Cam Hawkins, new member of the team. This dude showed me a screen grab. He had, I think, 200 unread
He
texts.
No, that's
posted this on
insane.
Twitter, which I
Yeah,
saw.
That's insane.
Bro,
I read all of
how's
my
that
stuff. I
possible?
might just take a little bit longer to get.
I
there.
think those have been moved on from. You know what I'm saying? Like those are not actually going to
just-
get
just
replies.
clean 'em up.
Those just.
Yeah, clean them up.
every night before I go to bed, I try to
I'm a
whittle
zero-
my email down
I'm
to
a zero inboxer, zero text message.
I'm also strategic with when I bail on my phone. It's not going to be noon on a Monday, and you're going to
No,
be
I
like,
know.
Connor doesn't have
it
his
just
phone.
kinda, it's sad, but it makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, of course, it's an anxiety
should-
of not having it.
we should just say you have gotten better in terms of checking the social media all the time. Doing
yeah.
this. Like your habits are improving, even though that in particular, having the phone on you is still a thing.
Work in progress.
You're working.
We went on this long tangent just for me to say I didn't have my phone on me, and I come back to my phone a few hours later to 5 text messages from PT. Kittle officially out, I think. Can we put Ferguson in now or too late? Did it. Oh, shit. I think I actually dropped Kittle from the squad instead of the team. I fucked that up bad. Oh, no. And then 3 hours later, I didn't have my phone on me the whole
Oh
time.
my god.
Okay,
Rectified with commish.
I was gonna say, did we need commissioner intervention, or did
Yeah,
we just re-add him and was
No.
top of the?
It's actually,
he
it's actually- I
rectified
hope
it.
he's not listening here. We'll find out if he is.
Oh, fuck.
But it's actually a blessing in disguise because now he could finally drop the trade that has gone so far
Yeah,
up. The
yeah,
commish
yeah.
came back and helped him out. So I think it's like a quid pro quo. Like
Oh,
we're
yeah,
all,
I agree.
We're also
square.
3-0, and like we're handling ourselves.
We're gonna win regardless, so we don't need to lean on that anymore.
need a big night from the boys in
Yeah, we got it.
We're also 10 to 15 minutes late to this meeting. So if they ask us what we were doing, just tell them.
working.
Hopefully they're not listening to this. Love you all. Thank you so much for listening, downloading, subscribing, all those things and more. Please follow. Please rate, review. We were shooting up the ranks. I don't know what those charts are, but we were shooting up them.
The mysterious charts.
So let's keep doing
nebulous
that.
charts.
Hope you enjoyed this. Again, October 14th. Circle it on the calendars, but there's plenty more to come between now and then. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So much fun building this empire, airplane, whatever you want to call it. And we appreciate your support and patience throughout it all. You're probably listening to some music here that is familiar.
It's correct.
It's a death. Thank you to Frank for
Frank
making
loves
that
that.
happen.
Frank loves that.
when you say that.
Keep it locked. Much more to come. Peace. We're out of here.